Howdy Cup and welcome to another episode here for the Funky Pod Mindful Media and Communication. And I mean, this weekend there's only one topic we can talk about. So of course, welcome to the Super Bowl show. We're talking about the Super Bowl and we're talking about like how the media uses the Super Bowl to manipulate you. Yes, you and me and the entire human race. Because you think you're just watching like a football game, you're watching the football game of the year, of course, but the Super Bowl is not just about football. It's, if you're honest, it's kind of like the biggest psychological experiment of the year. It's the one night, the one day, when corporations, networks, media powerhouses come together to control what you think, what you feel, and what you spend your money on. And the weirdest part about it, you love it. You're really into it, and you're buying completely into the narrative. So let's break down how they do it and why you still fall for it. So I quickly, next 15 minutes, I will talk about how is the Super Bowl the craziest, biggest media spectacle every single year, even if you don't watch football and any other day. How brands use psychological manipulation to control what you do, what you buy. I'll show you how the halftime show, it's not for you, it's for corporate America. And why the game itself is scripted. Oh, not the way you think, but it is. Let's dive in. Let's jump right into it. So, the Super Bowl, ever since I can remember, and probably even longer, but probably for sure even longer, is like a media ritual. And I throw in some media theories, communication theories here and there when I talk about stuff. So maybe you remember Mr. Katz from the Two-Step Flow? If not, I'll explain something new. So this researcher, media scholar, if you will, worked with someone else, and they created like the media events theory. And this tells us that events are like controlled spectacles. And controlled spectacles, and you might also remember previous episodes when I talked about the society of the spectacle, meaning that we as an audience, we like spectacular, crazy, big stuff because we don't have it in our own lives. So we want to see, we want to experience at least once a year. We want to be like, wow, this is so cool. And that's a spectacle. And the control spectacle is simply like the corporation, whoever puts it on, is in control and controls what's culturally relevant. Because it's so big, such a big spectacle, whatever happens at the Super Bowl will be talked about. Janet Jackson, yeah, I'm that old. Kendrick Lamar now, yeah, will he perform not like us, like and things like that, right? So it's a controlled spectacle that dictates what pop culture will talk about for the next days or weeks to come. And the thing is, the narratives going into the Super Bowl, they're all manufactured, right? There's a hero and there's a villain, and I think it's pretty clear who the villain is. The Kansas City referees, because that makes a better story. Yeah, it's always like the dynasty versus the underdog, the team that has to scratch and claw to go to the Super Bowl, and then the team that just gets it handed. Jeez. It's always the same pattern. And when the Chiefs came up, they were like the underdogs, but then they took it, and now they're the dynasty that people hate. Even the players' personal lives. I mean, before I go there, we saw with the Patriots for a long time, right? And even the players' personal lives, they're part of the script. Why do you suddenly care about Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift? Why do you care about them? Why? Exactly. Yeah, they show it so many times, everywhere. Not only during the Super Bowl, but leading up to it. Right? It's all crafting a big narrative. Yeah. Then on the Kelce podcast and so on, and you see her, of course, all the time, which is understandable, but which also just helps to craft that narrative. And one of my favorite things to point out, and I do this in class a lot too, is the illusion of choice. You think you're choosing what to watch, but if you're honest, you're just following what the media is engineering. You think, yeah, I want to watch the Super Bowl, yes, but because they make you think about it for that much, that long, all the time, so you're like, yeah, I'm interested in it. Yeah, every major network, every trending topic, every single ad is designed to keep you in the loop. Because if a Super Bowl does not dominate culture, it's a failure. Because it's so expensive, there's so much money involved, right? So its goal is to dominate the conversation and the culture, and it does. But if it wouldn't, it would be a huge failure for everybody involved. And that's why they try so hard to make it work. And with all the money involved, it does work. And that leads me, speaking of money, leads me to the ads and how they, I'm going to say it, how they buy your mind. Now, Super Bowl ads aren't commercials. They're psychological warfare. And stick with me. Like brands, they're not selling products, as we know, right? They sell identities, feelings. Like why are beer ads with like 6 months of exception, but why are beer ads always about friendship and masculinity rather than beer? Hey, and that's no dig on Shane Gillis. Shane Gillis, you rock. But that's just one example, right? I mean, it's a big, famous example that Apple never really talks about the product features, like not the actual, like the processor or whatever. It's like how it makes you feel, what you can do with it. That's normal. And so the media and ads, in this case ads, they use like cognitive biases against you. Like for example, you talk about the exposure effect. If you see it enough, you trust it. That's actually an actual principle. It's also like, that's why you see, for example, testimonials all the time. Like if one time you see testimonial, you're like, yeah, whatever. If you see it like 100 times placed wherever, like, eventually it just sticks to your mind. It's not even like, it's not your fault. It's psychology, right? The halo effect. Yeah, if a brand makes you laugh or cry, you assume it's good. You assume that it has like, it connects with your emotions, which is true. But then you already have a connection to the brand. That's why when we have marketing classes, we tell students, hey, find a way to connect to the audience's emotion. That's what you have to do. That's what marketing agencies are paid for. Figure out who's your target audience, what do they feel, how can we trigger their emotions, right? Social proof, I just mentioned it earlier, right? A few seconds ago. Testimonials, but then also influencers, of course, micro-influencers, your peers. If everybody's talking about an ad, it must be great. Is it though? Maybe they just pay the influencers to share it, for example, right? But those are all cognitive biases that are normal to experience, to fall for it, because, I mean, it's psychology. How would you fight it? But it's well known, and ads, brands are using that against us, maybe, yeah. This year, and this is recorded before the Super Bowl, dropping right before the Super Bowl. So I'm a look into my crystal ball, and I'm telling you there will be more AI-related ads. There will be definitely at least one emotional tear-jerker. And there will be like a bunch of woke but not really woke ads trying to look very progressive while selling you a whole lot of, can I say that? Garbage. Okay, I'm not here to hate, I'm just here to show, okay? And then we talk about your favorite thing of the Super Bowl, the halftime show. And it's not for you, it's for them. Them. It's not entertainment. It's a corporate power move. Okay, it's always a corporate power move. Anything Super Bowl is a corporate power move. So is the halftime show. Apparently, I don't know if I just fell for some IG algorithm, whatever. Apparently, the first halftime show I did not verify, so please don't believe. Check it out for yourself. Where the New Kids on the Block in 1991, Step by Step, ooh baby, that one. Back then it was presented by, I think, Coca-Cola. Now it's presented by Pepsi. The halftime show presented by Pepsi. Who drinks Pepsi? Right? And I mean, the halftime show exists to make a brand, Pepsi, look cool. Not just Pepsi, because I mean, they have many sponsors, right? And the stage is sponsored probably and whatnot. It's not for your enjoyment. I mean, the enjoyment is cool to happen, but it's a whole branding thing, right? And the artists that perform, and now I know I'm gonna get hate, they're not chosen by talent. They're chosen by market reach. And I mean, the past few months, the Drake versus Kendrick Lamar, and then Kendrick Lamar winning Grammys and so on, it just makes sense to have Kendrick Lamar there. Not saying he's not talented, by the way. I'm just saying talent is not a deciding factor. Market reach is a deciding factor to choose an artist. Usually, the NFL doesn't even pay the artist. They perform for, and if you ever try this in the real world, exposure, because it sells the next album. If you try to go to your, I don't know, wherever you have lunch and say, hey, I'm not going to give you money for my lunch, I'm going to pay you an exposure. Mm-hmm. But here that works because the reach is so big, and then of course you're selling your show, your albums, whatever that might be. And for this year's performance, Kendrick Lamar, I mean, I don't want to rehash other content creator stuff. Check out Josh Johnson. It's a hard name to say, Josh. I find a different one. For a German, it's a hard name to say. Josh Johnson. Check out Josh Johnson, the stand-up comedian, famous because I think he's on a Daily Show as a correspondent, but his stand-up is amazing, like great storytelling, like I see Josh Johnson, I click, I watch, and he explains like in his stuff is usually a bit longer, which is great because it just develops a bit better. I like it, and he talks about like Kendrick Lamar performing that one song that everybody knows. It's very funny. So of course it's going to be performed, and everybody's going to love it because it's like, oh my God, he did it. How does Drake feel? How is Drake going to respond? And you're going to be all stuck in this thing again. Flagrant's going to have a whole podcast just on that again afterwards. And the narrative afterwards will be like, it's the greatest halftime show ever, or the worst halftime show, the biggest disaster ever. It's either one of those. No matter what it is, it's going to be talked about a lot, right? It's going to be talked about a lot. No matter if you loved it or hated it. There's no middle ground. There's not like, okay. It's like awesome or terrible, because that's what sells. Okay, that's why they go to extreme. That's why media always goes to the extreme. There's no like balance because who wants to hear something balanced, right? No one. Only extreme sell. Amazing, best ever. That was terrible. And okay, let's also talk about the game itself for like maybe 2 minutes, because let's be honest, it's scripted. It's not rigged. Hey, don't get your Twitter fingers ready. Relax. It's scripted, but it's not rigged. What do I mean? Like, so, is the NFL rigged? Probably, but that's not the point. What my point is, they're not scripting who wins, but they do manage the narratives. And keep your fingers off the tweet button, but referee bias exists, okay? Not necessarily for one team to make sure the Chiefs win all the time, but to create drama. So that's definitely a thing. Because that's good for the product, that's good for the company. They want drama. They don't want like a blowout, for example. They don't want a boring game. And the NFL itself, they want big stars in the final moments. And I mean, we enjoy it too. They don't want blowouts, neither do we. We want to see like a game that's decided on the last possession. Of course we want, right? So if possible, it's not like, I mean, of course they're not like tackling someone themselves, but if possible, they try to keep it close-ish, if that's possible, to enhance the drama. And why? Because we want the spectacle. As an audience, we're drawn into this whole thing. And it's the whole narrative or the whole theme of this episode, that we are drawn into the spectacle, And of course, the corporation that puts on the event, the NFL and all the sponsors, they want us to be invested. Yeah, they don't want you to switch off, turn around, do something else. So, what you should watch for now in watching this game later than today, I think, is now that you know a few of the behind the scenes, so to speak, I would like you to just think. And I'm not saying don't enjoy it. You should enjoy it. It's a great spectacle. I will watch parts of it too. Hopefully enjoy it. So you could look at like which storylines are being pushed. Are we still seeing Travis Kelce, Taylor Swift, for example? There's the legacy thing for now, Mahomes and the Chiefs. So like, oh, can the underdogs overcome it, for example? Is there like a redemption arc in there somewhere? You could look into like which ads feel like manipulation. Well, all of them are, but which ones are the worst? They're like, hey, I see what you're doing. You're just trying to make me feel like this right now. Yeah, which ads are the worst at hiding it, maybe? That's something you could be looking into. And of course, because, I mean, I know you're already on X, getting ready to tell people that I said NFL is rigged. How does social media shape the conversation? Yeah, what narratives are getting amplified? What narratives are being reposted by your favorite influencer? What's shared by the NFL? There will be narratives, Mahomes greatest ever. There will be narratives that come out of the Super Bowl that will be amplified, and you will understand, oh, I see what they're doing and why they're doing it. So which ones will we see? Maybe that's something you could be thinking about. Last final thoughts that I wanted to share when I prepared this episode was, the Super Bowl clearly is the most effective media event ever. Because it happens every year. There are other spectacles, of course the Olympics, that get like more views overall maybe. But I mean, the Super Bowl happens every single year. And even like, I'm in Thailand. I'm a German in Thailand. I'm not from the US. Not really. I do understand the game-ish. And I enjoy it once in a while, but not a hardcore fan. And even I talk about it right now, right? So it's a great, huge spectacle. It makes you feel things. It makes you buy things. It makes you talk about things on its own terms. It's amazing. And again, I'm not saying you should hate it. No, you should enjoy it. Sit down, relax, have fun with friends, enjoy it. But just know that every moment is planned, carefully planned. Every ad is designed to manipulate you, but every single ad always is. Those just more. More goes into the Super Bowl ads, as you know. And every storyline is chosen for maximum emotional impact to make us care more so that we are sticking with it and are following it for longer. So, last question that I have to ask you is basically, so are you going to watch the Super Bowl? Are you watching the Super Bowl? Or is it watching you? Let me know what you think. As always, at FunctionPod on social media, functionpod@gmail.com. Leave comments on Spotify, wherever you're listening, because that really helps us reach more people. It's really cool. Very much appreciated. As always, enjoy, have fun, stay safe, take care, and we talk soon. Sawadee Cup.